Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. Monday, welcome guys. Football season Monday, semi-new edition of Monday. Danco transmission Bearcat Bounce Podcast. That's right, it's the BBP. Your Cincinnati Bearcats, a tough 31-24 loss at Arkansas. We're going to break that down. Nuts and bolts, ins and outs. But without further ado, it's time to welcome in my two guys, my pals, my Whoop Pig Suey comrade, and then the Holy Grail aficionado. That's right, Chad Brendel, Aaron Smith. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing all right. Made it home.
Whew.
Long drive.
There we go. Yes, that's half the reason I decided to fly.
That seemed to work out for you real well too.
Oh, it worked out phenomenally on the way back. Phenomenally. Chad, how are we?
Good. Working in conjunction with the show. Trying to get him in here. He should be here shortly. He's having a few technical difficulties. He's on his way.
Technical difficulties. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have vehicle difficulties. Oh, and well, speaking of technical difficulties, those seem to be cleared up. But, you know, before we mention this guy that just joined below me, we got to give a shout out to Danco Transmission real quick. Danco Transmission. I never saw Danco Joe. I think he was hiding from me, to be honest with you.
I also didn't see Danco Joe.
Fayetteville.
He was walking around in the Huber shirt.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, when you set up a tailgate for, you know, a game and whatnot, you're like, yeah, I'll see you. And then all of a sudden it's like, these tailgates are 2 miles spread out from each other.
Yeah, I asked how to get to that tailgate, and it was like, yeah, it's about a mile down the road, and then you turn left, and then it's about a half mile. And I'm like, and then I have to go back to the stadium 2 miles. No.
Yeah, right. we took they had at the Cotton Bowl, that was an issue. And they had the carts that you just had to tip. Like
the golf carts, yeah.
Yeah, the golf carts.
They did have petty wagons, but I mean,
they had horse and buggies. You could ride around campus.
No, the people biking.
I know.
He knows. But no.
I'm making fun of. I'm making an Arkansas joke.
We were walking around, and I tell you what, I was wearing pants, a button down, and dress shoes.
That sounds dumber than shit.
Probably logged about 4 miles. Good way to sweat out the happenings of the night before and the happenings that came later in that night as well. But you know what? It just was. It was an interesting weekend. And but if you drove down there, you drove back, your car's got a little ticky to it. Take it over to Danco Joe, Danco Transmissions. Tell him we sent you. Mention BBP. Mention Chatty B or AA Ron, or mention Ryan Royer. With that, Ryan Royer, how are we?
Doing well. Sorry about the difficulties. I had to tune in on the phone. Laptop's not cooperating really well, so maybe it's time for a new one.
I mean, all that money you're making.
New engineering check might have to drop.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's something Danco Joe probably cannot fix. I mean, you could try. You can take it in there. Maybe you get $10 off.
Might have to get Coach Fick.
Oh.
Coach
yeah, technical genius.
Might have
Coach
to tap
Fick.
in.
Yeah.
There we go.
Have to take his recommendations.
Yeah, need to. Well, speaking of recommendations.
Look, all I know is
what?
First game without Ryan Royer on the roster, L.
Oh, apparently I was on the roster. I got a video from someone who was at the game. I was in the program somehow.
Oh, wow.
35 Ryan Royer, listed in the program. So I got to show that around to some of my friends. Felt
the
pretty
show doesn't
cool
end.
for the first time in a long time.
The show never ends.
Wow.
Never.
Well, I guess that's impressive. We'll take it. In the program, number 35, number 1 in BCJ and Bearcat World's hearts. How about that? There we go. But 31-24. Ryan, give us your setup on Saturday. I know you were out of town, I believe, maybe a vacation or a trip of some sort. Where were you at? Where were you watching? How are you feeling?
So I was at Lake Norris, Tennessee. I was with about 19 of my friends. We were hunkered in the living room, decked out in our Bearcat gear, just huddled around the TV watching. We were just locked in for the whole game. Yeah, I mean, it was fun, get to watch the game with some friends, but obviously you're like, damn, I wish I was out there. I wish I was in that environment. First game, not really there, but I mean, we didn't get the W, but I like the way some guys stepped up. You could see that there's obviously room to grow, but I think there's a good ceiling for this team. If you just eliminate a couple plays, a couple penalties, it's a whole different ball game. And I think the Bearcats would be coming home with a 2-possession victory. So, I mean, there's a lot to learn from, but I'm still excited. It gave me some I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be really good players and really develop this season, and you saw that a lot just throughout the game. Certain guys just stepping up throughout different moments, but obviously you hate getting a loss to start off the season, but haven't had that in a while. So, there's not a program or a team that's going to be able to get right back on the right track.
When you heard that the quarterback was announced and it was Ben Bryant, how surprised were you that Ben ended up winning the job over Evan?
I wasn't too surprised. No disrespect to Evan. I just, that was always, the guy I thought was going to win the job. I think he came back for a reason. He's a great competitor. I knew him and Evan were battling. But I kind of got the feeling that Ben kind of took over the past, from what I'd heard from some of my teammates and my ex-teammates, and, just being at camp and seeing some things. So I wasn't too surprised, but obviously no knock on Evan. But, I was happy for Ben to get the start as one of my close friends. But
I mean, that's the reality of the situation, right? Like, somebody's got to win the job.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm having a hard time making people understand. I don't think when I talk about the quarterback situation, I don't think Evan's a bad player. I think Evan has a chance to be a great player. But they had a competition, and Ben won the competition. And that means you give him the rope to let him progress after winning the competition. He made a bad throw, you don't pull him. Like, it's not a video game.
Yeah.
It's not fantasy football. People have to grasp what's Luke Fickell's job? To win football games. And he made his choice based on who he thought was their best opportunity to win the football game. That was Ben Bryant. He's going to stick with that until, I don't think this is going to happen, but if things are bad in 2-3 weeks, then maybe you revisit. But Ben, after winning the job, deserves a chance to prove he's the guy to lead this team forward. I think that's what a competition means. That's maybe hopefully you agree, but that's kind of how I see it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. I love that they all the coaching staff. I don't know. I saw something from Coach Vic saying we're not going to do a 2 quarterback situation.
Yeah.
I can't think of a situation where that's ever worked in professional college, and I don't think it would work here either. And the thing about Ben is, you kind of saw it last year with EMU. He had a job, he had a battle, he had to beat out the guy who was previously there. First couple of weeks, Ben had to get settled in, and then he ended up being a 3,000-yard passer and played really well. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Here, I think it's your first game back as a Bearcat, and you got to get comfortable. You're at camp, you're practicing all that stuff, but nothing can simulate a game. And so I think, Ben looked great on that first drive. Then he had that, that pick. He kind of telegraphed it. The guy had a great bite and, made a great play. But, I mean, you just see flashes of Ben throughout the whole game of his arm talent, just getting on time with his receivers on the deep balls and maybe some other quick game routes. That's just going to keep getting better every week. And, knowing Ben and how talented and the kind of worker he is, I mean, don't be surprised when he's got 3,000 yards going into the last couple of weeks of the season. So, fans got to just kind of let that develop and, understand that, like you said, it's not oh, let's press start, sub out the quarterback and get press resume, and everything will be good. So,
yeah, I think another thing with quarterback, obviously, because you can have position battles at linebacker, you can have them on the defensive line at cornerback, and you can still rotate in whoever finished 1B to the 1A. But at quarterback, it's about, getting the reps and getting that comfortability and that cohesion with the entire offense. So I feel like it's a little different with those competitions, as you were saying, Chad, the fact that, you've got to pick a guy and you've got to stick with that guy for long enough for him to start clicking. And I think in the second half, you did see that. But in the first half, obviously, that you mentioned the interception that was thrown. You've been on the sidelines when something like that does happen. When a quick game, I think back to like the Army game back in the COVID season when there was that botched pitch that Army was able to scoop and score on, and it was something that quickly just gotta is the team. Do they just quickly wipe it from their memory? Is that something that the coaching staff harps on, and you kind of just say, okay, yeah, throw that one away and let's focus on the next play? What can you say just from experience when an adverse play like that happens?
Yeah, just like you said, it's next play mentality. Mistakes happen, and honestly, some could argue that you make a mistake that early, you have plenty of time, regain yourselves and make up for it and learn from your mistakes. Whether it's if you're not throwing a pick on the game-winning drive to lose the game or something like that. So our coaching staff always did a great job of next play mentality, be positive. Same thing with the teammates. Like I said, we have a great program, a great brotherhood, guys. You can't see it on TV, but I know for a fact, even Evan, Evan was probably the first one to go pat Ben on the back, hey, you got this, bro. Next play, you're good. We're going to be just fine. The whole offense rallied around him. Same with the defense, and that's just how Bearcat football has been brought up the past couple of years. So,
yeah, even Josh Wiley in the postgame presser mentioned that. He went up to Tim right away and just said, hey, we're good. We'll get him next time out. So, yeah, completely agree.
I need your opinion on Ivan Pace because, my Lord, he was everywhere. It felt like every time the camera zoomed out on a big play, there's Ivan Pace giving the, okay. Okay, Ivan.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah, and you love that. That's why we got him to come here. We got him to transfer here because we knew we needed that playmaking ability reestablished after losing Beavers and Joel. That's a lot of production, a lot of, Beavers made a lot of big plays, whereas Joel was just consistent, racking up tackles every week. So we needed an experienced guy to come in and who can step up on the big stages and make those plays, and that's exactly what Ivan did. And, same thing with him. He's a transfer. If he's flashing like that week one, the sky's the limit for him. And then that just makes everyone else better on the defense. That's going to open up way more opportunities for our D line, way more opportunities for our Mike. So seeing Ivan ball out like that with his first game and with the CPAW on, that's really good things for the Bearcats defense.
Kind of a weird dynamic as the offense seemed to struggle in the first half and the defense was really showing out in the first half. And then in the second half, you kind of flipped from that exact scenario to the exact opposite as the offense stormed back and the defense seemed to struggle a bit in the second half. What do you accredit that to as the game kind of played out that way?
That's just the way, football, people are going to get first downs. They're going to make big plays, I mean, I'm not going to I don't think the defense played poorly in the second half. Sometimes they scheme up a good play. They get a good drive going. They make some plays and make things happen. We always got to tackle better on defense. We got to pursue better on defense. I think that's something we could have did better in the second half, especially trying to contain that quarterback, get him down on first contact. Don't let him fall forward. Because, those extra 2 yards that, you get extra 2 yards on first and second down, yards after contact or missed tackles, that makes 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, or first downs after 2 plays. And, you got to play complementary football. You got to, that's all 3 phases of football. You got to play well through all 60 minutes. And, sometimes one's got to be struggling, so one's got to pick you back up. But in the end, you got to make a play. You got to get a stop and, You can't be having stupid penalties, and that's kind of what happened. I think that's kind of what the recipe for disaster was for him. But, both sides of the ball, it's like gives and goes.
Has to be
kinda how
insanely
football is.
frustrating. Like that's exactly what you're talking about, complimentary football. They get a touchdown, they get the fumble, they take over it. And that was complimentary football, even if you go to the kickoff, because Arkansas was getting frustrated, decided to bring out the kickoff, tackled at the 15, holding call, pushed back to the 7, then the fumble, Eric Phillips recovers, and then false start, illegal formation. All of a sudden, it just starts snowballing. Is there a point? Is it hard to take a deep breath and step back from what's happening in the moment and be like, hey, just relax. Everybody calm down for a second.
We're always a pretty collected team. I think yesterday was a good example of we've always had problems with penalties, throughout my whole 5 years there. And we'd have problems with penalties at the biggest moments, in some of the biggest games. That's just something that we struggled with. But the past 2 years before, we had guys, dudes that, could just make up for those stupid mistakes. Whether if our defense gets a penalty, all right, next drive, we got Ahmad, Kobe, Joel, Maije. They're going to make a play. We're going to get off the field. And then on offense, we had guys like Dez, and who was just able to make things happen sometimes. And we're really blessed to have. And, situations like yesterday, we're kind of we got new guys in there who are trying to find their way. No offense to any of those guys, but they haven't really shown that they're going to be. Yeah, it's reality, and we can't afford at this stage right now. We can't afford those kind of mistakes. And sometimes it's just just a dumb mistake, but if you keep compounding them, oh shit, it's 1st and 20. We're not on the 3, we're on the 15. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 12 when it should be 7 points. But we left. That's 4 points we left on the field, but that doesn't lose you the game. It's a 60-minute game and other mistakes at other times. So it's tough. Obviously, you're like, God damn it! How did we not come away with a touchdown on the 3-yard line? You're like, it's something we got to learn from. Can't let it happen again. We got to find a way to it's been a pattern we've struggled with for 5 years. We got to lock in a little more, just pay more attention and, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. Well, so kind of going back to the whole, all 3 phases, as far as preparation goes, because week 1 games are completely different than a lot of other games because you don't have game tape from that current year. But as far as it goes to, preparing for a player like KJ Jefferson for Arkansas, that, I keep on trying to think back of a similar running quarterback RPO scheme that has the ability to get to the second level with his legs and can throw it some as well. And I keep on trying to think. I think Justin Fields would be one that pops into my mind from Ohio State a while back. I think Clayton Tune in the AAC championship game was actually the guy who last ran for more than 50 yards against a Luke Fickell coach team at quarterback. So, but he got sacked a bunch too, so it brought him back down to world. But as far as preparing for a quarterback like that, I feel like that's really hard to replicate in practice because, even Fick said we didn't expect Jefferson to run it as much as he did, and, different things that he brings to the table. That's something that you really can't prepare for.
So on defense with RPO, you got guys responsible for every option. But the way RPO works is it just puts the defense in a really shitty spot. It's is it a run? Is it a pass? Okay, now you have to react, get to your guy. But he's already got a step on you, so you're kind of in frantic mode, and it just puts a quarterback like that who can put his foot down in the ground. If you're out of position and when you're going to try to leverage the ball and tackle him, he's going to fall forward. He's going to get 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. And, Arkansas is smart. They know they can do that. They know they can put our defense in a bad position. And they just kept taking advantage of that, But we were in good spots where we could make the tackles, but sometimes like you just got to get better at it. We're not going to be able to have a 6'4", 240-pound scout team quarterback who can.
Right.
I mean, maybe when I was there, I could have given a great look at that. I don't know.
I had a recommendation. I would have made Shaman the scout team quarterback to be KJ Jefferson.
That's a great comparison. I like that.
Maybe Cam Jones if he was ready for that.
Cam Jones
Cam is not 250 and 240 anymore.
No, but no, do you remember that one Camp Higher Ground?
Yeah,
Ryan,
but
do you remember that one Camp Higher Ground? He was just out there running people up.
I was on the field. He hurdled Colin Whittakin, who was like, I mean, Cam Jones was 6'9", and Colin Whittakin was probably 5'7" on a good day. So he just had to step over him.
Cam's about 320 now.
Yeah.
It's a little
different. But Shaman's about that size.
Yeah,
and can move. That would have been my secret weapon. Comparison.
Yeah, would have been nice. But Ryan, on the flip side, though, when it comes to showing the look that you're expecting from Arkansas's defense, I think the offense was expecting a little bit more 3 down. I think they came with more 4 down than they anticipated. It's just trying to give as good of a look as you can, and then adjusting from there for the offense. Once you see, okay, maybe the scout defense that we planned against wasn't exactly what they were going to run. Just tendencies and everything like that. Yeah.
So both sides of the ball, everyone that's out there, they played the game. They know the game. They know how to react. Our coaches put us in great positions to succeed. And what it just comes down to, all right, we got to make adjustments. This is what they're doing. Let's, we might have to tweak a little things around, maybe go to look for different looks on offense, go to maybe a different front on defense, or hit them with different rush packages and stuff like that. But it's just about like, our coaches are always going to put us in the best spot, and we just got to execute both sides of the ball. At the end of the day, there's a guy wearing red, you're wearing white. He's in the open field. He might be a quarterback. He might be a little bit bigger than the scout team guy, but we've trained, we've worked, we know how to tackle, we know how to pursue, we know how to play with good fundamentals, and that's what you got to execute. Sometimes we didn't do that. We couldn't get off the field, and you got to learn from it. You got to hit the tape, hit the practice this week, and get back to business versus Kennesaw. But that's kind of how the game is. You're never gonna have a perfect call. You're never gonna have a perfect like alignment, but you got to just make a play, make something happen, and execute.
As coaches are being brought up, what were your initial thoughts of a Gino Gadouli run offense?
I liked it. I thought we had a good balanced attack. I liked the running game. I thought we showed good signs of like a good positive running game, but especially with a kind of like a depleted, not depleted, just a little bit different offensive line than what we were hoping for. Got some guys kind of go down, losing Renfro. Yeah, losing Renfro hurts. I mean, I loved a lot the passing concept. I love the way they used Tyler Scott. I mean, he was open a lot, just inches away from multiple big gains. I really liked it. I'd love to see Trey Tucker too. Trey Tucker, I thought showed good flashes. Getting him involved in a little more next week would be good. Tight ends played well. We threw the ball close to 50 times, right? Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah,
like Ben was
43, attempts. I think.
With 26 of 43.
Yeah. So that's a little bit up more than I'd say than the past couple of years. But I like what Gino was doing, and I'm not surprised. Big plays, big potential, utilizing players well. Good run game still. Denbrock liked to run the ball. We can't get away from that. That's a big part of our offense, and we have a lot of talent on the O-line and running back. So I'm a big fan of Gino's game plan so far.
Quite a bit more stuff outside, though not as much strictly inside zone, I thought. There was still the inside zone stuff there, but they were getting on the edges a little too. Yeah,
I really liked what I saw from Corey Kiner. He was flashing like his ability. There's a reason why he was at LSU, and he carried the ball a lot there and coming back. I liked what he was doing. I think just getting him back in the swing of things. I know he missed a lot of practice and camp and stuff, but I'd like to see like more of him moving forward and get Ryan Montgomery healthy too. I know he got a little banged up.
Yeah,
but
oblique or chest or something
yeah.
in that range. I did want to ask one more scout team question. It had to, last year scout team was run by Armand Benz.
Yeah.
And this year it's run by Michael Colosimo, like advantage last year.
Yeah, of course. I love it.
I just had to give Colosimo a little hard time here.
I love it.
So also we look at a couple other things, the 3 phases part where you mentioned how, it's offense, defense, and special teams. And I don't want to throw anyone under the bus or anything, but field goal kicking has obviously been a bit of a tough thing for the team to get completed. And, I think Ryan Coe has the ability to, right his ship and everything like that. But, as far as the team goes and everything like that, is it also another thing like a turnover where if a field goal is missed, it's just kind of just like whatever, guys, we have this faith, we have this trust, let's pick them up, because it seemed as if, yes, the one drive that, Kiner had back-to-back big gains, and then it was, 2 incomplete passes and then a field goal that was missed, a little chip shot. But, it seemed as if Ryan Coe has the leg and the ability just as far as the special teams side of things go. Is it, kind of just one team as a whole? We just say, hey, Ryan, forget about it. We're going to get him the next time out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like same thing. Like if we throw a pick on offense or let up a touchdown on defense, you're like, fuck, like, damn, we don't want to do that. Like, that's not good. Like, but yeah, next play. So like, yeah, you missed the kick. We're like, all right, shit. Like, can't have those, but next play, man, next play. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've ever seen someone kick a ball harder than what he kicked on that 48-yarder that banged off the post.
Yeah.
Like that ball,
like the top of the
48, top of the post. That was good from 70.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I mean, that just shows his potential. But now he's just got to put him through the upright. He will. That's why we got him here.
His extra points.
I'm giving. Yeah, I'm giving. Bryce Burton some. It's all the holder's fault. So it's all Burton's fault. We've been talking.
Laces out, Burton. Laces out, Burton.
So Burton's shouldering the blame as he should. So make sure you guys get on Burton's ass for that. We can't be having that.
I know you're not a kicking expert. I'll get on Burton tomorrow. No problem.
Yes.
But on the short one, on the chip shot, they were on the right hash. They lined up, angled, and he kicked it straight as how. I don't understand how that happened.
So they offset like that so that it can if he were to kick it straight, it would obviously have the angle would be more forgiving, that it would stay within the upright and go in. That's why they do that offset, and they work on that like every single day. So it's not like anything new. So it is just unfortunate. It's like, all right, we're going to shift over there and still not going to kick it through if we just kicked it straight. But I don't know. It was
the straightest kick I've ever seen. And they were aiming at an angle, and he kicked the straightest field goal I've ever seen.
I know. Yeah. It's Burton tilted it too much. I don't know. So last year, it's funny. Last year I was the spot coach. So when there's holding, when you hold the ball, you have to put on like a specific spot, every single time to ensure that the kicker is going to kick it exactly where he wants on the ball. So me and Coach May, we were having some kicking problems. So I told Coach May, I'm like, I think you need some extra help. I'm going to get on Burton's ass. I'll be the spot coach. So the last couple of weeks this season, I would stand behind Burton and like tally if he's putting it down where he's supposed to. But, we got to get a new spot coach. 0 for 2. We got to get a new spot coach.
There's not a spot coach.
Yeah.
Who are we nominating? Will Adams?
Got to tell Coach Fick. Will Adams. We nominate Will Adams spot coach. Coach Fick got all that money now to boost up the staff salary. There's got to be some room for a spot coach on there.
Wow, are you
trying to come back?
You're throwing your name into the hat there, are you?
Hey, just Get me after 3 p.m. I'm good. I'll be out there getting those guys right.
Well, all you gotta say is look at what happened in the field goals were made in the final game of last season. We'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
So
Because of the
Yep.
spot coach reason why.
So one of the things, Ryan, that Brent and I were talking about in the booth is just like, I don't know, just the whole atmosphere was obviously loud. You're in SEC country. You have the Woo Pig Suey, and we still have been talking about where the hell did that come from? How did that stick on? And like that's the thing that they decided to go with and all of that. But what do you think it was like for the team playing a first game instead of having a warm-up game, but playing the first game on the road in an SEC stadium with I think they announced, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, the 7th largest crowd they ever had there.
Yeah, that was right.
Yeah. It's exciting. Guys like that. They're not intimidated. They want to be on the biggest stages, the biggest crowds, playing the best teams, best conferences. So it's like it's good to like have something like that. Like, oh, like we're playing like an FCS school week 1. Like, we want to go play the best teams, and we want to get at them right away. And I think the guy, we loved when I was on the teams, we loved going to the biggest stadiums and the biggest crowds. And by the time I was done, every game was like a sellout because everyone wanted to beat us. So we love the challenge. We love kind of feeling backs against the wall. That's kind of how we train, how we're molded. And, maybe a couple penalties and false starts, it's hard to simulate that in practice, and I just gotta get that corrected and just gotta keep being on the same page. But, I think the guys like it. They'd rather be playing there than be playing a smaller school and with not as big of a crowd. So
I've got a couple hot takes about the whole Woo Pig Suey. What is it?
Oh,
the calling of the pigs, if you will. First off, it's not loud. It might sound loud on the camera or whatnot, but it's really not loud in attendance. I mean, it's like I feel like everyone's trying to make sure their voice sounds good, like get like a good woo, like try and get like a singing voice for it instead of like a cheering voice.
Yeah,
I think down the drive is way louder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Since I remember I've told you guys before, like that championship game was, I mean, we only have 40,000 people in Nippert, but it sounds like 120. I mean, it sounds louder than Ohio State. We went there, my second or third year.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it sounded really loud on TV, but it's kind of funny how that works sometimes. Like these big like SEC football stadiums, like you're thinking I'm not gonna be able to hear anything, but same thing with South Bend. That's a big stadium. Same thing, Ohio State, big stadium. But the toughest road game I've ever played at was at the Bounce House, College game day. Not even close. So just shows
even
like
COVID
don't sleep on this. Don't sleep on the 40, 50,000 seaters in the American. Those places can bump a little bit. I mean, Nippert obviously, but people blow it out of proportion sometimes, like the bigger stadiums.
Didn't ECU get kind of loud too, and they only had like a handful of thousands at those games?
Oh yeah. That I bet you it was going crazy for that NC State game. I mean, that game was crazy. I don't know if you guys got the chance to watch that. That was a great game, and they only have I don't know, 55% of the stands, but it sounds just as loud as Arkansas on TV, and I guarantee you it was probably just as loud in person. That damn Pirate first down thing. I heard enough of that in my life.
Yeah, that game was wild. The whole Nailers marathon game, but what?
I was surprised. I didn't know he was back. I saw his ass out there. I was like, I thought you were my age, man.
His 15th season.
I mean, yeah.
Tom Brady thinks that guy's been at ECU for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But okay, so first half happened, 14-0. The
Danco Joe wants some positive.
I was rolling into that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The Danco Joe says he wants something. I'm going to give it to him. 14-0 happened. Obviously, it's something that is frustrating in all regards. But the only person that's been on this podcast right now that's here, that's been in a halftime locker room with Luke Fickell as head coach and the staff surrounding him is you, Ryan. So it seemed as if when they came out in the second half, the offense especially, they started clicking. And is it just kind of
New life.
comfortable? Yeah, exactly. Is it kind of just getting comfortable and kind of feeling out what the other team is giving you, or is there a bunch of rah-rah in the locker room to kind of just get everyone's focus centered in?
That's Coach Fick and the coaches were always great about, like, no matter what situation we're in, it always felt like what they were saying was like the perfect advice. You know, sometimes like we could be playing like shit against a lesser opponent, and they'd come in and they wouldn't like rip our ass, but they would just they just get us going. Like, come on, like just all we have to do is A, B, C, and we're good. Let's go do it. Like, we're a good ass football team. We're built for this. Let's go. And then there's times where, you know, you're in a big ass game and it's like, all right, we all know we're like, all right, we could play better. And Coach Fick comes in, he's like, all right, let's fucking go, guys. Like, it's a game. This is what we want. This is the kind of situations we want to be in, backs against the wall. Like, let's go and let's right this ship and get shit done. And I could just, that's what I'm guessing. He comes in, he's like, all right, like 14-0, and we could play a lot better. Like, let's go fucking do it. Let's go score some points. Let's keep them off the field on defense. And it's not just him, all the coaches, offense, defense, you know, they're reiterating the same message to their guys, making those corrections quick, calm, cool, collected. That's the one thing you know, sometimes you think like football coaches, like, especially at this level, they're going to come in and just MF you and rip you because you're not playing well. But these coaches, they knew the perfect balance. And I guarantee you that's exactly what they were doing. And that's why you saw just kind of like offense, boom, go right down, score, and just kind of a whole new life.
Have you ever seen anything in your life like what was going on with the helmets? I know people in the chat have already been talking about it. I asked Fickell about it in the post-game presser, but have you ever seen it felt like about 15 helmets popped up throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it like that bad. Like, even at practice, maybe it's just a fluke or something. Because I know Dalvin and the boys, they always make sure we got a good situation there. They always take care of us with the helmets. So I don't really know what was causing all that. Maybe it's like some of the helmets types. I don't know, because I'm not that. It was weird because it's never happened to me. Like, I would never notice it at practice with guys. Like, that was kind of freaky. Maybe
Shep just shook his head after a sack, and
he just celebrated and flew off. Well, you know what? Also, is the thing they mentioned. They wear that little bubble thing now, you know, and I don't know if that gets them, you know, frustrated and whatnot, and then so they wear it a little lighter during practice, you know, a little looser, and maybe they didn't tighten up in the game or something because those are flying off of these. My favorite one, actually, other than the Shep one that fell off just during the celebration, he was just waving his head up and down. And don't get me wrong, he's got a lot of hair to fit underneath that helmet. But my favorite one was a big tackle on the sideline by Ivan Pace, and his helmet like came off. And in one fell swoop, he like grabbed it with one hand and put it back on his head and tried to run back out there on punt return team. And I was like, wow, that was as smooth as you're going to see out there. But no, the helmet
cowboy putting his hat on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the question I had, though. Like, on the other side, like 6 times they showed a shot at KJ Jefferson on the field in the middle of the game, and he had his helmet off. Like, once you take it off, don't you have to come out?
Well, it is you can't take your helmet off on the field no matter what. Like, it's an automatic penalty. Yeah, I don't know, because like Coach Fick drills that in. I know what. Sometimes guys get excited and take their helmet off.
I know what that man's face looks like, and I shouldn't. Like, that's not how this works. Unless they're showing the show on sidelines, raising the roof.
Yeah. That helmet, my helmet was off quite a bit. You know, I only had
not by choice,
but no, not by choice. God willing, I would have been in there every damn snap. But sometimes you got to make sure the games don't get out of hand.
Yeah,
right.
Got to keep it fair.
sure.
You don't want to unleash. You can't just unleash the show on everybody.
No,
That's not how the show works.
Wouldn't be right.
No. So, kind of going back to the game a little bit, that first drive on that opening series in the second half, sure, Ben hit some good ones, and sure, Ben also missed some overthrows, but I thought maybe the pass of the game was it's like a 3rd and 6, and he was taking a blitz, and then had Tyler Scott on a little like out on the far side of the field again, and Ben stepped up and delivered it for the first down. We mentioned a couple of years ago, back in the COVID season, the first couple of games, it seemed as if Dez kind of was a little off with the receivers, a couple of overthrows, a couple of things here and there. And, it just raises questions amongst everybody, and obviously not in the locker room because the staff and everyone has their true feelings going forward, and that's all that matters in the end. But is it really just taking the game reps, live reps against an opposing team to get that continuity, to get that connection with receivers? Because it is a lot different on Saturdays than it is, Monday through Fridays at practice.
Yeah, quarterbacks, receivers, they get on the same page. Offensive line, defense as a whole. Everyone just gets better as the year goes on because you can't simulate a game rep. I mean, I know Ben's going to be out there like he has been every day, just getting extra work in. He's going to keep doing that, and you're going to see that grow with his receivers as the year goes on. But I mean, one thing that I noticed about Ben was that Ben was more likely overthrowing, where sometimes Dez in practice would have the tendency to underthrow. And when you know the game, and a guy like Tyler Scott who's running sub 4.4, and you just air that ball out there, I mean, there's so many like little things that could happen in the game that like it's just like Ben those balls that Ben are throwing, they're great balls, like amazing balls. We're talking like the smallest like fraction of a change in like a step, or like one like contact slightly off with the corner, like that, the way the distance Ben's throwing that ball, how fast Tyler Scott is, like it's just so close to being a caught ball. And that's just sometimes that's just how the game goes. And but I know Ben and Tyler, I guarantee you're going to be good and after it. But just see Ben overthrowing those balls, I like, not that I want to see him caught, but it's like, Ben's always had that arm talent, that arm strength that you saw when he's able to like throw to the other hash, like he was doing so well. That Dez didn't always like have. Like Ben always had that kind of like arm strength and talent, just a little bit better than Dez. Not that Dez wasn't good or anything, but you can kind of see that, especially with those overthrows that Dez would sometimes underthrow. And it's I guess it's like a positive thing to look at, a positive light to shine on it. Like I think it's better to overthrow, and to guys like Tyler Scott, I think they're going to be able to get that down quickly, and you'll be seeing a lot more touchdowns and completions.
Too much arm strength is not a bad thing.
No, right? Let's look at Josh Allen.
you can reel that in. You can corral that.
Yeah.
Getting more arm strength is like there's a lot more difficulty in creating that. And I think Justin Williams mentioned this to me today when I talked to him, off the record. But did you think maybe he was, after the pick, just trying to make sure the ball was out of harm's way? Because if you look at those throws, they're just a little high and just a little like away from where the defense would have been. And maybe just in your mind, subconsciously, can't make a mistake again, but I've got this guy running down the field. Let's put it where only he can get it. And he was missing by 2 feet, 3 feet.
Yeah.
Barely missing, but he was putting it in safe spots instead of maybe risking a little bit to where the corner could catch back up and make a play.
I think that's a great observation. Yeah. No, yeah. I knowing Ben, I know that he's going to just play his game. he's going to put the ball where he wants to put the ball, no matter what. If he threw a pick or if he threaded the needle in a window for a touchdown. So,
Yeah.
I think that's a good theory. I don't know for sure. I'd have to talk to him, but I think that, sometimes like guys like Trey Tucker, who he missed like high, like, sometimes, you get, flash of the moment, heat of the game. You got to remember your receiver was a little shorter than like a Nick Mardner type, stuff like that. But I think Ben was just playing his game, and maybe just a little bit off. And like I said, like they work those routes, they work those simulations in practice on the scout team. And so they have a great idea of where to put that ball. And literally just sometimes it's a matter of chance, like the receiver, everything has to go right. And, the ball's where it should be. And sometimes it's just a little bit off, and, there's nothing really you can do but just keep working, keep getting better, keep getting on the same page, and they'll start dropping by the next week or by the end of the season.
As we talked about, game speed is just a little bit different. It's, and maybe it's as simple as like in practice, you throw the ball the same distance, but you put maybe a little more air on it because the pocket's clean. Like, nobody's going to hit you. So in a game, you drive it a little bit more and you're off by this much. Like, I don't think people understand how small the margin for error is on a ball that's in the air for 50 yards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and he's throwing a guy like the speed that these
it's unreal.
Play like up the corner, and it's like people, they're like, oh, what? Just I can make that throw. Like just hit him in the chest. like people don't understand like just everything that goes into it. Just the freak athleticism of the quarterback to be able to put that ball there. The freak athleticism of the receiver to be able to go get it in the corner to be able to try to stop him. It's all just, that's what makes football just the hardest sport, one of the hardest sport to play and be successful and be professional at. So
yeah, I think
that's why we love it though. That's why we love football. Cause it's like, it's just every play. It's just a show of just freak athleticism and grit and just guys just get going at it and just, it's just great. That's why we love it. And that's what makes the wins that much better. And that's what makes the losses like this one hurt that much more. It's just like, oh, just an inch there, no penalty there. It's just like, yeah, it's what makes it great. It's why we love it.
Think how hard it is to make the NFL if you're not in the NFL right now.
Great example. A guy like me somehow goes to a cubicle 9 to 5, but just shows how the chances.
It's so difficult that even a guy like you had to go pro in something other than sports.
Yeah, I went pro in aerospace engineering.
Wow.
Working on planes.
Hey baby. Another thing with the overthrows to me, I think the fact that the receivers are getting that wide open also draws people. The fans are like, "What, are you kidding me? They're wide open." Well, that's because the receivers are good. They're really, really good. That's why they're getting that wide open. And you've already touched on how difficult it is to complete those passes to that type of player. But it also bodes well for what's going to be happening the rest of the season. And
because you know what also is really hard? Getting that wide open. Go watch the 2018 offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Jaden Thompson overthrow would be like a similar overthrow for every other team. But when you have players like Tyler Scott and Trey Tucker who can blaze past you, then it's going to be a little bit more obvious that the overthrow is there because they're that wide open.
There were like 5 times Tyler Scott ran past the DB like he was literally standing still.
Yeah, I know.
An SEC defensive back, and Tyler Scott was just like, he looked like the Roadrunner.
Tyler Scott is a freak. So is Trey Tucker. I mean, we got the whole receiver room. Like, the guys who's so much potential, and filling in for a guy like Alec, who is probably top 2, top 3 freak in the receiver draft class. So, I mean, it just shows like these guys are getting open just like Alec did. We just got to get that ball completed, and it's a whole different story. But they'll get it right. I mean, I got all the faith in the world in the offense.
One of the position groups we haven't really talked about that actually impressed the hell out of me, and I think that was because the depth was unknown, and we found out quite a bit about the depth, was the defensive line. and we got to see guys like Eric Phillips, guys like Dante Corleone. I think you even saw some Justin Watley out there. I mean, we got to see Noah Potter out there. I mean, there was a lot of guys that showed up in the 2 deep, and I think that this team was tough to contain, but they were able to show that not only are the starters good at doing so overall, but I think we got to see what this next generation at defensive line is going to look like.
Yeah, I loved seeing Eric Phillips in there and Corleone, man. Like Eric Phillips, the fumble recovery, Corleone with a lot of disruption. I mean, it's great. It's great to because you know the guy, you know the names, you know Malik Band, you know Jawan Briggs, you know Jabari Taylor, you know what they're gonna give. But just seeing like that depth come out of those guys making plays like in their first like real live action. It's very promising. It's great for the whole defense. That's great for the linebackers. That's great for the secondary. And those are young guys too. These guys are young and they're stepping up and making plays on big stages. That's huge. I'm just so happy for those guys, especially Corleone and Eric, like where they've came from and you know how much they've worked when they've got here and all the great things they've done and just seeing it like come to fruition for them. You know, I'm stoked. I'm so excited for them and this season for them.
Yeah, and
I'll disagree real quick. I'll disagree here, Paul. I think they were trying to make contact at the line of scrimmage when they were in press man. But when the guy puts a move on you and runs right past you, like then you look really stupid. And Tyler Scott did that like 4 times.
For those
they were up at the line of scrimmage to press him, and he just gave a little hesitation and vroom. See ya.
For those in the podcast only format, Paul Brinker said they would be in press man and try to make contact with the receiver. Not going to be successful doing that. That's what Chad's in response to.
Vroom, vroom.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome.
So like and subscribe.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Subscribe.
Right. But Jabari said as much in the post-game presser. He was just saying like that gets him jacked up to see, you know, the guys coming up after him that are doing things on the field, on the sidelines. They're watching it and they're getting pumped and they're equally excited about what's to come for the future of the Bearcats. So it was like you said. I mean, it's a trickle down effect, really.
Corleone chased the play down from behind,
which is crazy.
Yeah, that is. I know they had to get the oxygen tank out after that one.
They showed him on the sideline. He was huffing and puffing a good deal.
Yeah, because he sells out, man. He might not be able to do like a 14-play drive, but he's going to sell out. He's going to make things happen, and like that's the whole point of having depth.
Absolutely. So, just back to the game real quick. The play at the end of the third quarter. First off, talk about Chuck, man. Charles McClellan looked like a blast from the past out there on Saturday. Just, you know, first off, well, the one pass to him from Ben was the one that Ben didn't kind of put a little overthrow to, and you know, Chuck came back to it a little bit. Chuck had all green in front of him, but still, it was a big pickup on the 3rd down and 3 conversion. And then they rush up to the line, and that's when the whole, you know, sack happened and Ben's helmet popped off. But my question to you is, have you ever seen Luke as mad as he was after that phantom flag on Cooper as Cooper tried to grab a hold but was unsuccessful? Yeah, it was unsuccessful.
Yeah,
so it was a no hold, but attempt hold.
I thought, you know, there's going to be bad calls and you got to respond. And obviously that one hurt. I thought it was a bad call. But there's bad calls on both sides. There's bad calls in games you win and games you lose. So, yeah, I mean, Coach Trick, yeah, he was really mad. But, I mean, I've seen him, like, madder than hell. So it's kind of hard to, like, rate the madness because, you know, It's kind of with him, it's like it's all or nothing. If he's mad, he's hot. He's not, like, he's not going to be, like, 8 out of 10. He's going to be 11 out of 10 every time. So, but we love it, though. We love the fire. But yeah, that obviously hurt. I mean, I thought it was a bad call, but you know, we still had plenty of opportunities to tie the game up, and just got to take advantage of them. But you hate seeing something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you to Frank Mielek for joining the YouTube as a member. We appreciate it.
The problem there is you can't try to grab. Like, yeah, he missed, but the official, from the angle the official is at, just sees you reach out and close your hand for a handful of jersey. He's probably going to throw the flag, whether you connect or not. Like, what Coop's got to do is get in front of that block, because that was a perfectly designed and executed screen other than that.
Yeah. And, that's the same thing, game speed, game reps. O-linemen, they're not used to being out there. We probably run that play like once, twice, maybe 3 times a game. And like a practice, we probably run it like maybe 10 times a week. We know it's in the game plan, but like O-linemen, that's not where the majority of the reps are out there. Like, running, moving out, like laterally out and blocking people on the move like that. So, it's the same thing. You can't simulate that in practice. You just gotta just try to put yourself in the best position to execute. Because those guys, they can get away with those techniques and tendencies in the tackle box. Like, you can grab guys and hold like hell. Like 95% of the time, you won't get caught. But once you get right out there, like a point of contacts, like where the ball's running right through, even if you miss and you're not doing anything, if you look the part, referees, that's exactly what they're looking for. They see a guy miss a tackle, they're like, oh, why did he miss that tackle? Oh, I see him flailing his arms up, and I see a clenched fist from a Bearcat. Like, he's thinking hold automatically, no matter what. It's just unfortunate. Coop, like I said, another great player, great person. Like, he's going to work at it. He's going to get back in and make sure he's in the best spot he can be next time and execute. I know he's going to be hard on himself because, he cares about his game. He cares about the team and loves the team a lot. And that's what everyone respects about him. So, he's not going to let that happen again. And he's going to, get better and work on his game.
It's obviously hard because you can get a holding penalty on any play pretty much. But the fact that was one that looked like it was bringing back a potential, game tying touchdown just hurt.
Yeah.
But aside
didn't
from
even
that,
see it show up on the TV too. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. I didn't even know, like, there was no flag indicator too. You're like, what? What's going on?
Well, no, it was weird because, like, even like in the stands, like it was like quiet, and it was, I kind of was looking at Aaron. I was like, that's a touchdown, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's a flag, and
laundry.
Yeah,
it was kind of confused. It was definitely confusion going on, but it's what it is. And then of course another flag brought them back, and they had to punt. But talk about Mason Fletcher, the rake, a little bit. You've been around Aussies quite a lot your entire career, but man, it looks like he is he's prepared to have a James Smith like sophomore season. I mean, Mason seems extremely locked in.
Yeah, Mason, like, great punter, tons of talent. Guy who really pushed himself in the off season. For what I was told by some of my buddies, just put on a ton of muscle, grinded, worked his butt off. He's always had tons of, like, his ceiling was so high. We knew that, like, last year. And, when you got a guy with a high ceiling that grinds, and, a punter that's just getting dirty, nasty in the weight room, putting on muscle, even though he still looks like a skeleton, he's putting in the work, he's getting results. So, he's bound to.
Ask the question, Brent. Ask the question. Is he better than Jimmy at this stage?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Both these guys are my good friends. I like them a lot.
They're both really good. Like,
everybody
was panicked last year. We'll never be able to replace, or not never, but like, it's going to be really, really, really hard to replace Jimmy. And Mason hasn't skipped a beat.
No, yeah, Mason's doing a great job. That's the standard now, which is great. Jimmy comes in and sets the bar like that for a guy, a fellow countryman, a fellow Aussie. He can come in and relate to that, and Jimmy did a great job of bringing Mason in and talking to him, kind of let him know how things go, and I'm sure he gave him a ton of pointers. But yeah, I mean, that's the bar, and I think Mason can reach it. I think he can exceed it too. But that takes a lot of work. But I think that's something Mason can do.
On some of the punts that he had, like, it was weird because Arkansas wasn't bringing any rush. So he would just literally just wait in the backfield for the coverage team to get down there. I don't know. It just seems like he's got the wherewithal.
Well,
to do that
those were
well.
the short fielders. Those were the ones where he was only kicking 39, 40 yards.
Right. But they literally
Arkansas gave him a free pass to just like wait and kick it as high as possible. With Ryan Royer, we have said we're a big gunner podcast here. Trey Tucker, Tyler Scott, the two best gunners in the game.
That's just funny. I wasn't expecting that comment. But yeah, I love it. That position is very important. Like that is a very repped and it's taken very seriously on the team, the gunners. Well, the whole punt team is, but like we're putting our dudes out there, like our guys that we're expecting to beat the best corners in the country in routes on offense. Like we're putting them out there to beat their anti-gunners, and we want to beat their ass every play and get down there, and that's our expectation. But yeah, Mason, that little hezzy thing, we drill that every Thursday and Friday. We work the pooch punt, and he gets out there and he reps that, like snap, catch, hold, pause, wait, especially if there's no rush, to get our gun, because we tell our gunners, like, we want you to catch the ball like inside the 8-yard line, like just go down, like that's how much time we're expected to give them. So that's repped a lot. You're going to see a lot of that, because hopefully we don't see a lot of punts, but you're going to see a lot of punts inside the 10 because we rep that.
I love trash talker too, though, right? I mean, it's
I like it.
Well, I was going to say I loved watching even Mason talk trash to his brother Max on the other sideline as he's making his punts and just walking away like shh, like even on ones that were called back, he doesn't know that there's laundry on the field, and he's still just talking shit to the sideline as he's walking back to his.
We got a great look this week. Like their dad and grandpa are legends in Australia. Not famous, legendary Australian rules football players. So when you saw those stories coming out, it was crazy to see all the Aussies coming in. Like his dad was my favorite player. His grandpa was the shit. Like it was really cool, that like perspective.
Yeah.
Because we heard about it when he committed, but we haven't seen much of it like since. But then you saw his dad. His dad's a unit.
Yeah. I got to see him at the playoff last year. He is big. Like they all have that
big
same
dude.
Lanky build. Yeah, that is. I mean, they say he was comparable like Kobe Bryant. Like that's like his level of recognition, dominance.
Not the Bearcat, Kobe Bryant.
Oh yeah, not the Kobe.
Not our Kobe.
The Mamba.
Kobe.
No.
Kobe, like that's how big his dad was in Australian rules football.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say Fletchy.
He was legit.
I hate
half that laugh was Chad's face.
This is interesting because I agree with Jason here. On the sack fumble, I thought that was helmet to helmet. Live.
Yeah. I guess it's just harder when it's from behind, It's harder. It's not like
she said.
Yeah.
I
had to fit that one in there.
I couldn't. Yeah. But the question from Jason.
I'm as immature as anybody.
The question from Jason: what are the roughing the quarterback rules in college? I thought for sure they should have called roughing when Ben got smacked. Then you watch OSU Notre Dame, and the refs call it when the guy breathes on the quarterback. I think you're probably right because it was a blindside. But isn't that when you should be protecting the quarterback? When he is defenseless and the guy comes from the blind side and just smacks him in the back of the head?
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, I guess like it's probably a more defenseless position, but the rule book's like, helmet to helmet, like crown of the helmet hitting up and around like the chin and neck and head area. It's probably just harder to like interpret the rules directly. Like, I don't know, but I'm not a huge fan of the I don't like seeing guys having to sit out a game for targeting. And obviously, it's like, oh, that would have helped us win the game. And, if there was a flag there, but, I don't
Like,
know. I mean, yeah, you want to
I
take
don't
care of the
necessarily
players,
think it
but
was targeting where he should have been ejected, but it was helmet to helmet. His helmet, the first thing that made contact with Ben Bryant was his helmet to the back of Ben Bryant's head. That should be a helmet to helmet penalty.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I mean, yeah, you could make that argument. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I am right now.
Yeah. Your argument is valid to be heard. We'll put it that way then.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And then, I mean, sadly, after the game wore on, it was a couple of big plays by Arkansas in that fourth quarter that kind of, put the touches on it. But Cincinnati, another good drive where, when Arkansas pushed it back out to 14 and Cincinnati got the ball back, and I was just forever scared that somehow Arkansas was going to get the ball back and score again and make it like a 21-point deficit or a 17-point deficit, and it's going to look way worse on paper than it did at the game itself. Cincinnati was able to go down and drive, and Lenny got a touchdown off a good throw, really good throw by Ben on that play as well. Kind of just after the game ended, and the 3rd and 9 play, Chad, you mentioned it on the nightcap. The 3rd and 9 play, missed tackle by KJ Jefferson, was able to get past the first down, move the chains. Another one a little bit later was 3rd and 2. Another KJ Jefferson keeper moved the chains. So once the game was over, though, Ryan, were you able to take a step back and kind of be like, you know what, this team is good. This team is one that I fully believe that they're going to be able to run the table after seeing every other team that they play on the schedule. I'm sure it's only week 1, and every team's going to improve or make adjustments here or there. But just from what was seen on the field on Saturday, there's no doubt in my mind that this team is as strong. It's like the talent is all there, and all the things that need to be fixed can be fixed. Penalties, miscues, different things like that. It's not like, oh, they've got a huge gap on the offensive line of, they don't have the talent to have success, to succeed. So is that kind of the same as you were able to take back after that? See, they agree, right, Chad?
I'm going to strangle my dogs tonight. Good God.
Easy.
Dead.
All right, we are going to lose our PETA sponsor now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Chad has ruined that one.
Well,
let's just say I'm having margarita pizza for dinner. Did that clear it up? Are we good now?
All right, if there's any big dog lover listeners, just pretend you didn't hear that one. We'll be good.
Yeah. Lovingly. I'm going to lovingly strangle my dogs. Like, not lovingly
say, hey, please
arm.
Stop.
Look here. We're doing a podcast. We've got the show on. Calm down.
I can't believe they don't understand. Right on cue.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. That's exactly what I thought. But like, losing sucks. Like, it, especially the standard, the bar is so high now. Like, we you can't, like, seeing a loss week 1. Like, we haven't seen that since I don't even.
Before your time.
I was there. We haven't lost week 1.
Right.
Yeah. Especially like the 2 years before, like, we haven't lost since the bowl, like, all season. And so it stings. It's like, damn, like, making the playoff last year, you're like, we want to do that. Like, that's the kind of, we know we can hold up to that standard. And just kind of like, I was talking to the guy, like some of my friends on the team over the weekend, just like, I was telling them, like, yeah, it does suck. Like, that's kind of like out of the picture and stuff. But, like, we all agreed that, like, we felt like there's a lot there. There's a really, really solid team there. Like, and guys who needed to step up, stepped up, showed flashes. You see a lot of depth on offense. You see a lot of depth on defense. I mean, like, O-line, Renfro, who's one of the best centers in the country, goes down and just guys fill in. Guys get dinged up, guys fill in. I think they did a really good job. secondary, I thought, obviously we're not going to have Ahmad and Kobe, but I thought they hung in there. They played well, and there's things that are going to get corrected. The quarterback, I think Ben's going to get better each and every week, and I think he's going to have a hell of a season. But, you just see that, you're like, all these guys, like, they all played well, but obviously they had things to improve on, and, you can't be shocked seeing that week one. But in a program like this, coaches like this, like, just being able to see that, like, all right, yeah, we're gonna be all right. Like, we're gonna figure it out each week, and we're gonna have a hell of a preparation, hell of a game plan each and every week to be able to take care of business and make sure this is the only time that we get a loss. So it does suck to lose week one and kind of lose that, like, those playoff dreams, so to say, because I think that's the news that's a standard now that we want to be one of the best 4 teams in the country, and we can be, but I think it's all there. The team's there, offense, defense, special teams, to take care of business every week. And I'm excited for him. Excited for him this week to take care of business and, right into week 3.
So the last time they lost the season opener, real quick.
I had a quick question. Like, Bumper Pool was named SEC like Defensive Player of the Week. Did you guys
for what?
get this right? Like,
Ben Bryant juked him out of his shoes.
Right?
I saw he made one play. Did he make like one TFL, or was it a sack? I don't remember.
Did he have the pick? He didn't have the pick.
I don't know.
No,
that was
a linebacker.
Trey McLaughlin.
Yeah.
No.
The corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sacks were Luke Jackson and or whatever his name is, Luke Johnson.
He had the strip sack fumble recovery.
That was Jordan Dominic.
That was Dominic, yeah, the transfer. Maybe he had like
he had the sack and
100 plus tackles, yeah.
I mean, like, he had a bunch, like, I don't know, like, SEC Defensive Player of the Week. That was not a guy I walked out of there like Bumper Pool, like, dominated the point of attack in this game. I didn't see that.
Well, no, you just replay the juke.
He was no Micah McFadden.
just replay the juke that Ben had on him. Juked him out of his shoes.
That little hezzy stop,
just talked over
little jumpy.
You just talked over my
yeah,
great.
because I've had enough Micah McFadden in my life. Let him go eat Thanksgiving meal somewhere else.
Ryan, our joke, like, the Micah McFadden thing, you remember, we got to let him in on the inside jokes here because he's getting up to speed. When Micah McFadden got ejected from that game, Tom Allen put his own son in. And then after the game was basically like, if I didn't have to play my son and Micah McFadden was still on the field, we would have beat Cincinnati. So we joked that, like, at Thanksgiving, Micah McFadden got to sit at the adult table and Tom Allen's kid was over at, like, the kid table with, like, the plastic silverware.
Oh, my God.
Eating the scraps of turkey that, like, the parents, the adults were like, here, this is for the kids' table. So that's that great. Joke. If it ever comes up again, Bumper Pool was no Micah McFadden. I'll tell you that. Just saying.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, the last time that Cincinnati lost in week 1, Chad, Aaron, Ryan, any guesses?
No.
Oh, man.
It's kind of obvious when you think about it, because I mean, normally they open up against like Austin Peay and like.
Is it Ohio State 2002?
No, not quite that far.
Was Tommy
back.
Tuberville head coach?
No, he was not.
D'Antonio?
Butch Jones, the 4-8
Butch
season.
Jones, yep. Butch Jones' first season at Fresno State, 28-14. And I tell you what, coming out of that game, you had a lot of questions about the Bearcats. Coming out of this one, it's completely different.
Well, here's my overall takeaway, Ryan, and maybe you'll disagree with me, but I don't think you will. When I look around at what's left on Cincinnati's schedule, and I watch the team that was a couple minor mistakes away from winning at Arkansas to open the year, I feel pretty good about where this is going. Like, I don't think Ben Bryant is going to have many halves like that. I don't think the defense is going to have many halves like they had in the second half. Like, this team is already close, I think, even after losing Ryan Royer and Ahmad Gardner and Desmond Ritter, Kobe Bryant, Brian Cook, Alec Pierce.
Thank you for saying what I can't say.
Right. I don't think they're far.
I agree. They're not. I agree with you. I mean, that game, I think we lost that game. I don't think for any reason Arkansas took that, beat our ass, or they went out there and we just got, there's some times we made some critical mistakes, and, we'll learn from them. But that's a game that we could win. We should have won. So we eliminate some mistakes and play all around better football, complementary football, all sides of the ball. I mean, we're coming out of there with a win. But there's no staff that's gonna get us ready and right for week 2. And like you said, we got the guys. We're close, but close doesn't mean shit unless you go do it. So,
Right.
But I think we will. I really do. But I agree with you 100%, Chad.
I mean, even after that game, you can go as crazy to the point where, Ben Bryant could potentially be up for. And sure, a lot of things could happen throughout a season, but the way that he played in the second half and the way that the receivers getting open, you can argue he could probably be up for Conference Player of the Year by the end of the season.
There's going to be guys running open all season.
Yeah, exactly. And you can argue Corey Kiner is probably going to be up there as a 1,000-yard rusher this season if he's able to get the amount of touches, or at least close to there, depending on the health of the other players. But I mean, he looked like he has that special burst that we've seen out of past running backs in the last few seasons. So,
yeah,
I mean, I think coming out of that game, you're saying a lot more positive things than oh man, we gave up, 17 points in the second half and looked like loss on defense at times, or we overthrew in the first half with Ben Bryant and had a bunch of flags. Flags are I hate flags. And you lived through the 2020 season, and where you guys were the third worst in the country in flags, or maybe last in the country.
We might have been last. We were damn near.
Yeah,
bad.
But still, I mean, look, you finished last in flags are something that, unless it becomes a real issue and players are getting thrown out of games and stuff for personal fouls and whatnot, that's not normally what the flags are. And so it's you guys went 9-0 as being the number one most flagged team in the country throughout the regular season in 2020. So, these things can all be fixed. But I walked away, and I'm an optimistic guy, but I walked away really optimistic for the rest of the season as the team continues to gel.
Yeah. I was optimistic, but I was like, damn, you got to capitalize. We have to learn from this, because, those are big games. Those are big moments. Those are big impacts on the season that you you could be optimistic, but you're like, damn, you just let a really great opportunity get away. But I mean, all you could do now is just pick yourselves up and learn from it and be hungrier because of it. And I think that's exactly what the guys are going to do.
Did you guys need that early in your rise? Did you need to get your butt kicked at Ohio State? Did you need some of the things that loss to Temple? I think a lot of people don't talk about. I think that was a loss that sat with a lot of you really wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
The worst loss of the Luke Fickell era is that one. But it might have been the most important.
Yeah, we were still taking out anger on them last year for that. I know, the guys that were on the team for that, we hate these guys. We hate that happened. We need to score as many points and hit them as hard as we can every single play. Just that's how bad that loss was. That's how bad that stung. It festered still. We beat the shit out of them the year after, and then last year too. But no, it wasn't the year after. We didn't beat. It was a 2-point game, right?
Yeah, that was
something like that.
The terrible weather.
Yeah, it was
senior.
Yeah, no, that was last year. I'm speaking on then. That
last year you did
that stung. Yeah, but no, I like that that point, Chad. Over the past 5 years, if you kind of 60,000 foot view, you're looking down, you're seeing the way things have developed and how we've responded. You could kind of condense it all into that moment. We've needed to kind of mess up, so to say, to learn from and to grow, because this is like a new chapter. We kind of like finished a chapter last year. We're opening a new one now, new guys, but it's written by the same program. So we're going to follow the same tendencies. We're going to follow the same the cultures that we did before, and I think you're going to see the similar pattern. A team that can learn and grow and be better.
We'll find out. Like there's two. There's two types, and this is a common like cliche in sports. But I think, especially with what I've seen from you guys over the past couple of years, it's true. Two types: guys that love winning, and guys that hate losing. And you guys have had a team over the past 2 years that hated losing far more than you loved winning. That's my take. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. We like the thing is, like we're fortunate to lose at the end of the season. The past 2 years, I guess if you could say fortunate, but like
But then you carried that into the offseason.
Yeah. It's like we hated it so much that we can't let this happen again. But you saw that a lot in the years before, like especially once we got the taste for winning year 2, it was like, all right, we can't ever go back to that. And I think it's going to be the same thing. Like all these guys, that team is built on winners. It's built on like winning mentality. And that shit's going to sting all week. It's going to be a bad taste in their mouth. And like come kickoff Saturday, like I know they're going to be ready to explode and take out all that anger on the Kennesaw State. I forget what their even mascot is, but
oh man,
they're rolling in to an angry Bearcat team in Nippert, home opener. So
poor Owls.
I think they're going to take care of business. Yeah, poor Owls, but
the poor Owls, man.
Who?
Yeah, those Owls.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa, that sounded too much like the pig suey. So,
dad joke.
Let's throw that one away. God dang.
Dad jokes and what was the last one? That's what she said. Chad needs to start a Netflix special.
Might be a smart idea.
Fantastic.
Just another form of content. There we go. You can also catch us on Netflix. Yep. Yeah, Bearcat Journal on Netflix.
I love that you just hear him cackling all the way down the hall.
Golly. Well, as I can imagine, the staff is going to be locked in on this. Because and I think the players also mentioned this as well. I think Will Huber did in the post game, just kind of how they're all fixable things, and we mentioned it as well. So I'm excited to see the adjustments. I don't even know how many adjustments need to be made. More so just getting back out on the field again on Saturday and going up against a beautiful triple option FCS squad and just absolutely laying the wood and then coming out again and Paul Brown and probably putting on a light show against the Red Hawks. So I don't know. It seems like it'll be a quick turnaround from this, but one that'll probably sting with them because it's not a big game that upcoming Saturday. So that loss will probably hang with them a little bit longer. But I mean, this team's not used to losing, as Chad said, and as you have lived through. So I'm just looking forward to the adjustments and how hard they come out on Saturday. I think it'll be fun.
Here's what I want to know.
I'm going to be down there, so looking forward to it.
What's a Ryan Royer? I'm not playing football anymore. Game day look like? Like, where are you going to be? What's the plan? You going to the Letterman's Club tailgate? Is that where you're headed?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to find something. I have to make some calls, shoot some texts out, kind of find the lay of the land. But it's probably gonna involve having a couple beverages, maybe stopping down. Are you guys doing the Bearcat show down on Short Vine?
No comment.
No comment.
I no comment. We'll talk later.
Okay. But, I mean,
there's a good
God
chance
knows
I'll
I'd rather
probably
be out there on the field.
I usually stop at two places, which is the Simone family tailgate, which you're always welcome to stop by and say hello. It's on top of Campus Green. It's right where the catwalk, like that garage on the left of where the catwalk is. On the top of that, they always have Jello shots. If you want to stop by, grab yourself a couple Jello shots. And then I stop by the Republic of Cincinnati tailgate as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that's all on Campus Green, right?
It's on the grid.
Yeah,
the Republic of Cincinnati's on the
that's
grid.
What I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sigma Commons. Yeah,
over by the dorms.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to come say hi. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking.
I think
forward
they're going
to it. Obviously, I'd rather
Adriaticos
be on the field though.
Of course.
Oh, a little Bearcat pizza.
Yeah, I think they're going a couple Bearcats from
Enough to
Adriaticos at the Republic of Cincinnati tailgate.
Hey, they say it feeds 40, but I think it's only one Royer, one Brendel, right?
I think we could rock. I could rock. I like to eat good, but I don't eat a lot. But a Bearcat.
Yeah.
Do you know the secret?
I like that. That. What's the secret?
You know how the spice has got the sauce has got a little kick to it.
A little tang, yeah.
Yeah, a little tang. They're the only place I've ever heard of doing this. They take the juice from the banana peppers that they use for their salads, and they put the banana pepper juice into the sauce. And that gives the sauce a little bit of a kick. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I've never heard of that. I love their pizza. It's good.
I do too.
I love that.
It's very good.
It's the Sicilian, right? They call it that thick crust.
The Sicilian.
That's what they call it there. Yeah.
You can get it like small, medium, large, and then Bearcat if you are feeding a small army. I'll hit you up. We'll link up. Yeah. We'll link up at some point on game day.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, are you guys all going to be down in the are you going to be on the sidelines? Is that what you guys do?
I'm on the sidelines. They're in the press box.
We go down to the sidelines like before the game, after the game, but yeah, during the game we're up in the box.
I'm probably going to try to make my way down pre-game, get on there, chat it up with some of the guys. So if you guys are down there, I'll definitely come say what's up.
We'll link up.
Avoid Craig Carey. That guy's a pain in the ass.
I don't know. I don't think I know that guy. So
you don't know Craig Carey?
To avoid him.
Oh, thank God. Look,
no.
You and Craig Carey would be trouble. Trouble.
How much?
A lot.
All right.
So Craig was a quarterback, like end of D'Antonio, end of BK. And then he got switched at the end of BK to defensive end. So in his career, he played quarterback and defensive end at Cincinnati. He's a long time. Carey and I have been friends forever. So he's one of those dudes. Like we have great relationship with you and Garrett. Like Craig was my 2009 version of you.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna have to meet this guy then. Don't keep him away from me.
He's one of the guys that runs the Letterman's Club with Alex Apien and Tom DeTemple, Craig Carey.
Oh yeah. I know Alex.
Yeah. Craig was at a bunch of practices or a couple practices this spring. He's really good friends with Zach Caleros, and Travis.
Okay.
Like when Travis comes to town.
He
stays at Craig's house.
All right, nice. Okay.
Craig's got some juice. He's a dumbass, but he's got some juice.
He's got some boys with him.
He's got the crew. Like he's not the guy you want to know, but he's the guy that comes to the party with the crew, right?
He's the glue guy.
Right. He connects. Guy. Yeah. He connects. Yeah. Like I'm coming with Caleros and Kelsey and Jason, and like everybody's like, well,
no one's paying attention to him.
Right. Nobody knows Craig was there, but they felt the impact.
Couldn't have happened without him, though. Yeah.
That's going to be you in 2028 when you're showing up with Sauce and Dez and Kobe.
Yeah. Bryce Burton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bryce.
Yep.
No, that's going to be
No.
Bryce Burton. Bryce Burton's
Yeah.
going to be Craig Carey for sure.
Yeah.
Not if he's not if he's giving them laces every time, man. We got
Yeah.
get him out of here.
Spot.
Did you see the pool interview, the little floaty
Oh,
interview that he did?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, that's so Bryce. Like Bryce is just content city. Like
Yeah.
he's a riot. I love that guy.
So you know what that means,
But
right?
they
Is
need,
we're
they
gonna
need
have
more of that.
we're gonna have to angle for when he's no longer a Bearcat, that he's on this team right here. Like I saw with you,
Oh yeah.
Content City, Burton is next in line. He's been flagged.
Oh yeah, he loves that. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll let him know. Be a little Bearcat Journal grooming action for him.
I got to do another like a little like reconnaissance mission. What do you know about this like player podcast?
Player
with,
podcast.
Sopko has joined it.
Really? What is it called?
Hold on, let me look. I'll tell you in just a second.
Rock.
Hey,
something.
it's Sopka. Oh, Rock of Truth.
Yeah, Rocket Truth.
Yeah, that's with Statterman. And then this guy named Joe Metzger.
I remember Joe Metzger a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend of like guys on the team. He's just a great dude. Just like loves Bearcat sports, loves Bearcat football. And they get on. They just kind of like they'll talk hoops, they'll talk football. And actually, I was on it with. They did like a Walk On Nation one with like me, Will Adams, Bryce Burton. That's a great pot. You guys should check it out. They do a great job.
No, I want to add them to the network. I want them to be part of us.
Oh yeah.
So go do some work for me, Royer.
All right, yeah. I'll let them know.
I told Sopko already. Sopko was like, "Look, man, I just joined the podcast this week. I don't know if I can make moves yet."
He's not on the exec board.
No, he hasn't made it to the board of directors yet. He's just like employee 6 or whatever he is. But I want a player podcast, and I think
he can do it.
I think they do their show on Fridays, and we don't have a Friday show. So, like, come on, boys. You can keep your domain, you can keep your intellectual property, but let's get it on Bearcat Journal. Help me out, Royer. Help me out.
I mean, that's I'll spread the word for sure.
All right. Appreciate you. We're not going to make you do the mailbag. You don't want to do the mailbag.
You don't want to do the mailbag.
The mailbag?
You don't want to do the mailbag.
Is that what
it's fun, Ryan. Don't
on?
listen to them. The mailbag.
If you want to do the mailbag, we'll let you stay around. But I figure it's like 9:30. You've got like a desk job. You might need to go to bed. If you want to do the mailbag, you can do the mailbag. But I don't recommend.
All right, here next week I'll do the mailbag because I'm a dedicated member here. But I got dinner sitting in the freaking Dutch oven over there. I got some tortellini I whipped up.
Ooh,
I haven't ate yet.
Yeah.
So I gotta.
I love some tortellini.
I know, a little spicy tortellini action
Ooh,
we're going with. A little vodka sauce.
Ooh,
whipping up.
Like it.
Yeah.
Tortellini alla vodka. Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
But yeah, I'll do next week mailbag. We'll get into the hearts and souls of Bearcat Nation.
Nitty-gritty.
Hopefully next week is a lot more simple show.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't
you
have
guys,
to do we go deep.
You guys are weathering the storm this week. We got quarterback competition, a loss. There's gonna be some interesting mailbags.
Yeah.
But,
have you not read my Twitter this weekend?
I was at the lake. I wasn't on my phone much. Knowing you, I'm sure there's a lot of.
It's a cesspool.
I saw Kyle Bolden was out there defending the honor of the team. I respected that.
He was.
Kyle Bolden. He's the man. So
if you've never played football, then keep your mouth shut or something like that. Yeah.
Shut the hell up, Tommy Tuberville.
Go to hell. Get a job.
Tommy, I have a job, man. Jeez.
Jason Salins wants to know: do we need a Royer cooking show like on the Bearcat Journal TikTok? That's all the rage on TikTok are those little cooking shows. I've watched since we had to get TikTok because we added a Bearcat Journal TikTok channel, and that's all I watch on TikTok is cooking shows. We might need a Royer cooking show.
I learned a lot of cooking from TikTok, but you can't beat the fine Italian cuisine of my grandmother. That's where the real foundation has been formed. So, but TikTok does help. It gives you some new ideas. But hey, let me know. We need more content. I'll put on the apron, the chef hat, and get to work for you guys.
Wow.
I love it. All right, Ryan.
I'll
get
go
your
shirtless
tortellini.
apron. No clothes.
I was gonna say,
underneath
yeah,
the apron.
you might have to get more people in, the shirt off with the apron. Yeah.
And the
Don't
war
worry,
paint.
I'll wear pants.
Brent, you got to stop hitting on our guests, man.
Yeah. I'll get the war paint going too.
There
Awesome.
you
Hey, great talking.
Great first episode, man. Love it.
Yeah. Yep. Appreciate it, guys. Take care. Go Bearcats.
Go
Win
Bearcats.
column next weekend.
All right. Enjoy the tortellini.
All right.
See you, brother.
Thanks. Enjoy. All right.
See you. All right.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now. If we're going to get what we got yesterday from Dave and Jeff on the brunch, and then we're going to get what we got tonight from Royer on this show, there's nobody doing it like us. It's not close. It's not close. So good. So damn good.
Good old Ryan Roya.
Brett sus for Royer and Brady.
Well, good. let Brett be sus for Royer and Brady all he wants to.
Brent. It's Brent.
He said Brett. He said Brett.
He did.
Brett Stein, you're getting called out, my man. You're getting called out. But yeah, let's go ahead and put a bow on it. Aaron,
that was great.
How'd you like Fayetteville?
I'll never go back.
I heard it was a beautiful spot.
It wasn't awful. It wasn't a place that I'd ever be like.
It's a college town, right? Like
go on vacation.
It's quintessential college town.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
a little bigger than like Miami or something, but
yeah. Well, I think it was college town. I think I was just a few things. Traveling down was fun, but I talked to numerous people and they ran into the same issues flying down. So, it pretty much
that's a flying issue, right? Like,
yeah.
Thanks, Jason. We appreciate you, man. Never been better. I agree. We're killing it right now.
But it's that's when that's when the airport bars become your friend during those long layovers.
What do you order at a bar in the airport? Like, what's your go-to?
Double
get a glass of red.
No, I do double Tito's and soda with lemon. That's the move. So
okay.
And after a few
double vodka soda with lemon.
Yep. Always Tito's. But yeah, it was fine. Got there, did the whole went.
Jim, welcome, Jim.
Hey, Jim. It was a long drive, Jim, and it was funny because
it was so long that Brent flew, and he should have drove. I was
texting my friends, and I was like, hey, just touched down in Chicago for my layover. Where you guys at? And they were like, oh, we're still, we're still. It's 18, Jason, but we're still. They were still hours and hours away from getting home, and it was smart on the way back, but on the way there, it definitely took a while.
Like 11 hours, 12 hours.
Yeah. For
like
them,
you could have drove with Aaron, and we could have got content with you and Aaron the whole time.
I would have slept. Brent, how's it going back there, man? I don't know. I'm sleeping. But no, it was good getting there. But it was funny because you get off and my Uber driver that drove me to my Airbnb was kind of just kind of saying, to me, it was like, yeah. So what is it with the Bearcats? What is a Bearcat? I feel like that was everyone's favorite question of the weekend. Is what was a Bearcat? Aaron had a great tweet, doing Lucille greater sign and the
Tusk 5
that they had just hanging out. But I was pointing out the Airbnb to my Uber driver. I was like, it's that one right there with the Cincinnati Bearcat flag. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what a Bearcat flag would look like. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he had never seen the Seapaw in his life, but could name like the entire starting lineup for Arkansas, if that gives you any idea of the type of fanhood that they had. But game day, walking in front of the all the frats and stuff, was getting a lot of F you, F this, F that. But it was was friendly for the most part. Got a personal tour from everyone's least favorite basketball coach, Eric Musselman, of the basketball facilities on Saturday morning. They had a recruit in town. And luckily, we were able to top in there. So, and then it was everything was good, and the Bearcat fan base was loud in the stadium yet again. Aaron, I think we could hear a couple down the drives. We could hear a couple "Let's Go Bearcats."
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, Arkansas's fan base was not very loud. There was maybe 2 or 3 times that they got loud. One was inside, that first and 3 after the fumble, first and goal from the 3-yard line. And, it was so loud that I thought they were like pumping in crowd noise because it was so quiet other than that one time. And it was weird. But you know what? Jim Huber's right. We did take over Hickson Street. And just a quick aside, Jim.
Dixon Street.
Dixon Street. Yeah, very good. Dixon.
I think Hickson might be a play on words there.
Yeah. Well,
because south.
Yeah, I'll roll with Jim. We took over Hickson Street. How about that? But yeah, I mean, it was a fun weekend. Obviously, coming away with a dub would have been a lot more.
This
more
might
fun.
be my favorite comment, and I don't know how long. Brent's airport budget and mine are not the same.
It's
I concur, Deanna. Hence me not flying.
Okay, thank you, Deanna.
Deanna gets a single Tito's with soda,
right,
and a lemon.
Yeah, you can bring the lemon, but not sucking up to you at all, Jim Huber. But I thought Huber did really well on the offensive line.
Hey.
Yeah,
we didn't call your son's name out at all for getting
right.
beat. Like, that's a good day.
Yeah,
that's a good day as an offensive lineman in your first start.
Yeah, not hearing your name on the offensive line. That's how you want it to be.
So, but no, we took over Dixon Street. We took over that JJ's or whatever it was called.
Twice.
Yeah, the back and forth of them doing the woo pig suey and us doing down the drive. That was a fun back and forth. We went to some bar called Shots, where you take a shot of something and it's in a shot glass. Sorry, not glass, ice shot glass, and then you throw it on the ground afterwards. That was a interesting thing. I'm sure it's a big hit with the with the college kids.
What?
Yeah. So you
just break glass on the floor and everybody walks around with broken glass on the floor.
It's made of ice. It's made of ice.
Oh, I'm like, what the hell?
It's made of ice. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, T-Win.
Could use some. But yeah, good solid weekend. Oh, and a quick aside, Chad, do you remember the name Rodney Clark?
Oh yeah, I remember Rodney Clark.
So
almost was a Bearcat. Larry Davis loved Rodney Clark.
Well, everyone else in the country did too. But so,
before everybody else in the country did, Larry Davis loved Rodney Clark.
So my Uber driver from the Airbnb on Sunday, I went to like a barbecue place for an hour, got some food and a drink, and then to the airport there. My Uber driver just happened to be Rodney Clark's dad, and
oh wow,
dropped me off at the bar I went to, and then he said, "Hey, if you want me to give you a ride to the airport, I'll do that too. Here's my phone number, this, that, and the other." So we had the long drive to the airport together. He was giving me stories. It was awesome. Got his number. He's like, whenever you want to go to a Pacers game, let me know, because Ronald Nora had said I can get you tickets whenever you want. So shout out to the Clark family.
What did he say about his recruitment to Cincinnati? Did you get like?
I asked, dude, and he was too busy with Bill Self stories, Roy Williams stories, and just like I know, and
fuck out of here, man.
LeBron James stories and this, that, and the other, pretty much. And then he asked Brad Stevens, because Rodney transferred from Arkansas to Butler. Asked Brad Stevens why he didn't recruit him out of high school, and Brad was like, "Do you think I'm dumb? I knew we weren't getting Rodney out of high school, so it was
right.
It was just a good funny story, but yeah. Overall, I'll be honest, I expected a little bit more, but Fayetteville was about as solid as you can be. I can tell they love the SEC more than their own team. I think maybe a lot of SEC belts, a lot of SEC chants. It was quite strange, but
the highlight of my day was Bearcat Journal Twitter just going after Barstool Cincinnati Twitter with me. I thought that fantastic. So to anyone listening that helped me out with that, to get credited for something that Barstool doesn't send anyone out to cover.
Look, I don't mind the Barstool Cincinnati Twitter account, but stop stealing people's shit. Like, come on.
That was my
Like, if
only
you want to
issue.
be taken serious around
Just
town,
retweet me.
yeah. Like, stop stealing somebody else's shit and saying it's yours. Like, it's not a good look. And nobody's going to respect you, and you're going to lose a lot of credibility around town. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple.
But another amazing showing by the Bearcat faithful. So shout out to all the fans, man. They, I could tell that the Uber drivers and the fans that I talked to from Arkansas were blown away. They didn't expect that many Bearcats there. So, and it was a hard weekend too. You know, Labor Day weekend. You know, first week of the year. First game of the season, and kind of end of summer. It's a tough time to decide to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas for that. But you know, they showed out yet again. So, shouts to them, and I look forward to a great season. Anything basketball, or should we hop right into the mailbag?
I mean, the only thing for basketball I would say is George Washington III
Just decommitted
from Ohio State today.
because
But I don't,
Bronny James.
Does that mean
I
Bronny's
don't
going there?
believe the Bearcats will be involved in the re-recruitment of George Washington III.
It is funny the whole.
So there's everybody wanted to hear me do that, and
I know
this
I
is
did.
probably the only time it's going to happen. I don't
There we
see
go.
UC getting involved.
Open and shut that door. What they were saying, Dayton, because of his dad's connection or whatnot. So
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think Louisville's a possibility. Dayton's a possibility. He had a bad summer, man.
right.
Like, I watched that team a lot this summer, and look, there were very few games I watched where I walked away thinking like he made it was Devin Royal, Dalen Swain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was he didn't splash this summer at all.
It's like he was going the opposite way of Collier, pretty much.
Yeah,
Which
fair.
you probably don't want to do that. Looks like the Jizzle James thing is kind of going the same direction as of now. Finishes his visit to Miami without a commitment, which is always, something that on those visits you just want to say that and
Right.
move forward. So
the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be really interesting. I also think that the staff would like their movements over the next couple of weeks to be a little more stealth, because they're in some high stakes. You're in high stake. They're playing a lot of high stakes poker. And you know what you don't want in a high stakes poker game is everybody at the table to know your hand.
Right.
So I think they're going to do everything they can to keep that hand. Like, you know how they do that thing if you watch poker on TV where they're looking at their hand like this and they don't look at it again.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of that over the next couple of weeks.
Unless you got that little hidden camera, which maybe you are the hidden camera, but they want to keep
Probably
it close
not.
to the chest.
Probably not. Like, I might be
Right.
the hidden camera, but we're not going to be talking about it a whole
Right.
lot over the next couple of weeks.
Things seem to stay same with the whole Isaiah Collier thing as well. Just reading.
They're just now restarting the process.
Right.
He saw his best friend die.
Exactly.
He was there. Like, it's not just that his best friend died. He was there
Mm-hmm.
when it happened. The kid needs some space. The family needs some space. Like, it's
right.
It's really difficult, man. Like, it's not something you can even fathom having to go through. And I know UC gave them they didn't even reach out for a month.
Yeah. Which
hands off.
Yeah, which is what you probably wait until you hear from them. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Just
when they're ready, they'll reach out. I think things are finally starting to get back to normal, or at least as normal as it can be, and they're getting back into the recruiting process. But even if you look at Jizzle James' schedule, he's got a visit scheduled for November.
Yeah.
He's not in a hurry.
Right.
And guess what? When your dad is a Hall of Famer and made $100 million,
you don't need to.
There's no press. Like nobody's pressuring you into anything.
Right.
You're good. Right. Like you're not fighting for scraps.
Yeah.
You're at the top of the food chain. You're okay.
So
this is going to play out through the fall and towards the winter. And we'll see what the staff is able to do.
Yeah, just a quick aside, that when Musselman was giving us a tour on Saturday, the recruit that was visiting was Jason Richardson's son. So my mindset was, if this was a recruit that kind of was seeing all these bright lights for the first time, they probably wouldn't want just some random Cincinnati fans kind of hopping on for, the tour of the arena. But, when it comes to a player whose parent has been through the whole thing, it probably bodes to a little bit different of a recruitment. So Jizzle's one of those guys. We'll see what comes of that. And obviously him, Collier, Page, just the same thing seem to keep on rolling on. Aside from that, I think Jim Huber shouts to Danco Joe for a great tailgate. Joe, sorry I didn't make it. And Aaron, it was tough out there, man. Tough to figure out where anyone was, to be honest with you. So,
miles away.
I
tried.
Yeah. No clue. But you know what? We came, we saw, and Fayetteville is probably forever out of my life. It was fun to visit for one time.
Safe to say forever. Yeah.
Fun to visit one time, unless
Sure.
there's some random reason to go there, then
No.
Yeah. We'll see. Who knows? Bearcats in the SEC in 2040. Who knows? Anyway, aside from that, I guess it's time for the mailbag. So let's go ahead and
All right.
dive on into that.
Open that on up. I'm starting right at the top. What backups? And this is from Otter217. What backups impressed in week 1 that you can see starting by the end of the season?
I don't know of any. Like,
Corey
do you
Kiner.
consider Corey Kiner a backup?
Barring injury, I guess.
Well, I mean, like,
Kiner was an oar though, so. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, like I don't know that there's any like from the back like surprises.
Yeah.
Eric Phillips had a great game. Dante Corleone had a great game. We talked about both of those guys.
But that's always like a rotation. You know what I mean? It's just like
Jaden Thompson, Nick Mardner, Chris Scott.
Right.
Those guys are in a rotation.
How about Will Pauling, by the way?
Will Pauling got a lot more playing time than I expected.
If you would have told me I think it was either the first completion or the first attempt was to Will Pauling on the season, I would have said, what? Okay.
That was interesting, too, because that was something we didn't see a lot at camp.
Right.
They had Pauling and Trey Tucker on the field together.
Right.
Which meant essentially Tyler Scott was your boundary, and you were playing Pauling and Tucker together as dual slots from the field and the slot. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of speed. Like Tyler Scott, Will Pauling, Trey Tucker on the field at the same time. Your defense is stressed.
Yeah.
Stressed.
Panting.
And then
with speed.
And then I thought Jaquan Shepard had a pretty solid game. I mean, second on the team in tackles, the only two.
I was very impressed with Jaquan Shepard.
He had the one play where it was a catch and run by Trey Knox where you want to take the outside. Yeah, you want to take the outside to push him back inside, to push Trey Knox back inside to the rest of your defenders. But aside from that, it's kind of just. Yeah,
that's not something a corner is necessarily going to be like well versed in, right? Like beat the block in a certain direction to like. They teach it. Yeah, like they want to be good at it, but that's not something like in the book of what do we have to have our corners good at.
It's probably like the fifth thing,
right?
Thing. Yeah, I agree. So I don't know. I don't think really anybody. I think strengthen the core that they have right now and just.
Yeah,
make
I mean
him
it's
better and better.
it's all the stuff we've talked about from camp.
Mhm.
Like I talked about a bunch that Will Pauling was having a great camp.
Right.
They just hadn't shown looks where Will Pauling and Trey Tucker were on that field side together.
Right.
If that's something that they're serious about going forward with Tyler Scott on the other side,
Good luck.
right? Like, and then you can bring in Jaden Thompson, Nick Mardner, Chris Scott. As Paul said, Wiley was the fourth receiver in that set.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
there's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got it.
Well, I
You
just
go
think
ahead.
the only thing that I thought was a little interesting to see as far as the wide receivers go was Nick Mardner wasn't out there as much as I thought he would. But when you have Will Pauling out there, it does change things up a little bit. When you have
the
both
Mardner
tight
thing
ends
is
out
just the Mardner thing is a part of that, and just it's him, Jaden Thompson, Chris Scott for that that boundary spot.
Yep.
Like there's going to be a continuous, not only rotation but battle from those guys for playing time,
Yep.
and also you mess with defenses big time when you have three different guys that can play the boundary and be good at it.
Right.
Because they have to defend so many different types of schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Look how open Mardner was.
Wide open. And
everybody wants to shit on Ben.
Mardner too.
Everybody wants to shit on Ben. That was a perfect throw to Nick Mardner.
Oh yeah.
Same as the wheel route to McClellan. Same as the toe tap throw to Tyler Scott in the second half. There were some really good throws by Ben, man. Was he bad in the first half? Yes.
Right.
Like I think okay, people, you win. He had some bad plays in the first half. But if you watch the second half, my God, there was some stuff that people were begging for from Dez for 4 years. Dez can't make these throws, and Ben made them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even it out a little bit.
Yeah,
that's all.
All right. Which of these specific Bearcat plays moments had greater impact on the final score that, if executed properly, could have flipped the game to a W? Number one, the Phantom Cooper hold that took away 7 points. Number two, the missed 48-yard field goal that makes it 7-3. Or number three, the ensuing set of mistakes after the fumble recovery at the 3.
The play at the 3 just has to be it, right?
Yeah, that was...
It turned 21-21 with 100% of the momentum into 21-17. Felt like an Arkansas victory, a 4-point blunder.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on the radio today. Both that play and the hold on Cooper that didn't happen.
Right.
That prevented from putting real game pressure on KJ Jefferson.
Right.
KJ Jefferson got to play as a front runner the entire game.
Yep.
And he's a really good college quarterback. I don't know what he looks like as an NFL quarterback, but what I know is he's a load and a bitch to handle in a college game.
Right.
And he was never tied or trailing after Arkansas scored their first touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So you never put that heat on him of got to make a play, like with my arm or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I think that hurt. I would say not converting on the fumble, but there were multiple, man.
Yeah, that one as well, Aaron. I think you'll agree because that was when the crowd was loudest. I think if you score a touchdown right there, that takes the crowd out of the game completely.
Yeah, for sure. And that crowd was really loud on third downs.
Yeah.
Fourth downs, touchdowns.
Right. I am interested to see if they were trying to get that play off at 4th and 3. I think they were.
I think they were trying to get him off sides.
Okay, and then
I think there was confusion.
Yeah,
I don't think it was well communicated.
Right,
but I think they were trying to get 4th and 1.5,
and then call a timeout or get it figured out. Yeah.
All right. Had asked this a couple weeks ago, but I think that the thread got deleted. How do the coaches
thread never gets deleted. I don't delete threads.
How do the coaches assess the impact of dual threat quarterbacks if they don't really tackle and protect the quarterbacks in scrimmage?
I think a lot of that comes down to your team, right? Like we've talked about this a bunch through camp and into the start of the season. If you think you need to be a power team, then you put more emphasis on a dual threat quarterback. If you have the weapons that they have offensively, which we're at a point where I don't think that can be denied.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how many guys were running open.
Right.
I think you put less of an emphasis on a rushing quarterback. Why was a running quarterback so critical in 2018? Because the wide receiver room stunk so bad. They moved on from the coach and almost everyone that was in the room and started over. They kept Alec Pierce and redrafted.
Right.
Trey Tucker, Tyler Scott, like Chris Scott, like the list goes on and on. Will Pauling. You okay, Eric?
Yeah, everything's good. No, there's just trying to see what noises are happening around here.
Can you see through the ceiling?
Well, there's a wall here, but that's the stairwell, and then there's another half a basement. So.
I thought you were like X-ray vision staring through the ceiling or something.
No, stairwell's right here.
I think in that situation, like if you know you don't have a lot of options to throw to, you lean into a running quarterback.
Yeah.
If you know you got a bunch of guys that are just going to be running wide open because of the number of weapons you have, then you lean into more of a passing style quarterback. I think that's played such a major part in this whole process. They know Wiley, Taylor, Tucker, Scott, Mardner, Thompson, like there's a lot of weapons. Maximize what you're best at. And right now, I think this team is best at pushing the ball down the field, making plays 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 yards down the field.
Okay. Please discuss both the disaster plans for center if, heaven forbid, something happens to Gerhardt, and also longer-term center development thoughts. Who centers on the scout team, and who did that last year?
I have no clue who centers on the scout team. They just started doing scout team like a week ago, and they lost their number 1 center and their number 3 center. Yep. So not only is Jake Renfro out, but Landon Pickle is out.
Yeah.
After surgery on a torn labrum. Gavin Gerhardt, the only other guy on the roster is a walk-on named CJ Johnson that is playing center. What they started to do last week that I saw on Tuesday, that we saw last year when Renfro got the hip issue, is that Vinny McConnell started taking those backup snaps and ended up playing a couple games as the starting center. I saw Dylan O'Quinn and Joe Huber trying to like fit into that backup center role just in case of, in case break glass in case of emergency.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, same thing was happening before the game when kind of the skill players are all out there just getting their warm-ups in. Huber, O'Quinn, and Gavin, and then CJ, I guess, would be the fourth one that was out there. They were all just taking snaps with the quarterbacks. So, to be honest, from the snaps I saw, Huber and O'Quinn were firing off some good shotgun snaps. Obviously, in game is different, and even in practice against contact is different. But from the snaps that I saw, they seemed crisp. So, big learning curve, but they are implementing and trying to figure out backup options if the emergency comes alive.
Right.
All right. Well, what is your current confidence level for the kicking game? 1 would be only PATs, 10 would be trying from 65, and that comes from UC Merck 17.
About a 6.5, 7. His leg is not a problem.
I'm going 7.5. I truly think you saw how far up that hit on the one that clanked off. And he was.
It was
close
48
on the other one.
yards.
Yeah.
He hit it perfect.
Yep.
In terms of straight, I didn't. Here's kind of what's weird. His ball doesn't like. The best kickers have kind of either a draw or a fade option. That ball looked like when he kicked it, the 48-yarder, it was gonna fade into the uprights, and then like halfway, it just stopped and went straight again. Yeah, like it's almost like he kicks the ball too straight. It was weird, and that happened again on the chip shot. We talked about that earlier with Royer. Everything was set up on the angle to kick from the wide side of the field angle into the goalposts, and he just kicked it as absolute straight as you could, and it was 3 inches. If he would have kicked it at the angle that the ball was placed, it would have been good. I'm not overly concerned yet. I know there's some people out there that are like, the kicking was terrible all of camp, but those people were at like 2 camp practices. So I don't know how you can say the kicking was bad all of camp when you showed up twice.
Boom, roasted.
I'm just saying.
All right. Are we done doing bye games? It's bad enough that we don't get a return game, but
yes. No, nothing. Yes. There's no point anymore in doing bye games. This was done in 2017-18 after the Big 12 thing fell apart and Cincinnati was stuck in the American. They did a bye game with Notre Dame. They did a bye game with Arkansas. They got about $1 million plus, $1.2 million to win the game at Notre Dame. They got $1.3 million and learned a hell of a lot about themselves at Arkansas. But from here on out, no, like they're in the Big 12. Why are they buying a game somewhere? They don't need the $1.3 million. Mm-hmm. So yes, done doing bye games.
Okay. That's the end of the football mailbag.
Hey.
Basketball mailbag. Will Chad have any open gym type reports now that everyone's back on campus? What is the schedule of how much coaches can work with players each week until regular practices begin? And when do those begin?
Probably not many open gym type things because there's just so much other shit going on. And we're also really close to like being allowed back in practice. I think the date I was told was September 26th that I'm going to be allowed to go like start watching practices again. So we're almost there. A couple weeks. The schedule, they get 4 hours a week of on-court instruction, 4 hours a week with Rayfelt. That goes from now until that like late September date where they officially start practice and start getting ready for the season. So we're almost there.
All right.
The basketball stuff is coming. It's coming. I had a couple conversations earlier this week or last week. Sorry, we're at the start of this week. Last week that was like, can I please come and watch workouts? And the answer was no. I tried.
Jason, I concur. Reason number 1 million, see Clemson at 4. Why preseason polls are dumb. Dumb.
Well, Clemson's defense is clearly one of the elite defenses in the country. Their offense, trash.
Doesn't help.
Garbage.
DJ Oogie Ukulele.
DJ Ukulele.
What is Isaiah Collier like as a defender, and how does that compare to Jizzle James's defensive profile?
They're pretty similar. They're both aggressive. they're both. Isaiah is a little bit more able to guard, 1, 2, maybe 3 because he's got more size than James. But they're both really strong. They're both physical. Way to go, like as high level defenders. But I like the potential of both offensively.
Okay.
They aren't that dissimilar, I guess, is my point.
And the last question in the basketball mailbag: how do you see the AAC unfolding this winter? Houston's a lock for number 1, but after that, there are league-wide question marks due to coaching changes, heavy roster losses, or both. Some teams have retooled better than others, but with all of these roster resets, it makes predicting any kind of accurate league finishing difficult. Who do you guys like at the top of the league, and why? Where do Wes and company fit in?
My dogs are losing their minds.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just spent the past 6 weeks working like 16 hours a day on football.
Non-stop football.
Yeah, I we'll get there. Like as we get to practice starting, my dogs are pissed you asked the question, H-bombs. I'm just kidding. But like, I don't know. Houston's going to be really good. I don't have much faith in Memphis. I don't know much about anybody else really in terms of like what they added, what they lost, whatever. Like that's a little ways out. And I'm going to mute now because my dogs are losing their mind.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Goodness. And the last question, rapid fire. Better star walk-on interview, Campbell or Royer? Mashed, smashed, or twice baked potato in Fort Lauderdale or Tempe, Arizona? Brent with Chad muted. We'll start with you. Rapid fire. Better star walk-on interview, Campbell or Royer?
Well, I've never interviewed Campbell and I've never met Campbell, so my answer is Royer.
Garrett is like my brother. I love him. But it's Royer. Campbell's a little too nice, I would say, in those settings. We've had Garrett on before. Royer will just say it, right? Like,
right.
I love that about Ryan. I would go mash on potatoes, but I'll add something at the end here since we're doing rapid fire. I would go mashed.
As you normally do.
Yeah. Brent?
Mashed.
I'm going to go twice baked.
Oh.
Because that's my jam.
It's his jam.
So last night I did a TikTok thing.
Oh, a tickle taco.
A tickle taco. So one of the TikTok trends I've seen for potatoes is you melt a stick of butter or half a stick of butter, and then you put Parmesan cheese and your favorite like seasoning, whatever you really love. I used Meat Church Holy Gospel because that's my jam. And you make a paste in the bottom of a baking dish. And then you cut red potatoes in half and you score them like a tic-tac-toe board. And you put them down in the paste and you bake them for like 40 minutes. They were phenomenal. Those are some of the best potatoes I've ever had last night. So try that.
Okay.
I will.
But Skins also wanted everybody to know he forgot it was Monday. He almost missed a shot at Aaron. And P.S. The coverage has been fire. Sincerely, one of Chad's psycho fans.
Well,
Yeah,
you missed.
You forgot Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, Tempe. I'm sorry. I've never been to Tempe, so Fort Lauderdale's easy answer for me.
Go ahead, Brent.
Can we call Scottsdale Tempe or?
Yeah, I mean that's the same place. Yeah,
Scottsdale. It's insane.
No humidity.
It's insane.
The Tempe is Arizona State, right?
Yeah.
Which is considered like the best, like
college
co-ed situation in the world. Maybe.
Arkansas was pretty good.
I heard in the SEC the co-eds are pretty good at the co-ed thing.
They do it a little different down there.
It's like a formal, right? Like they're dressed to the nines.
There was some of that.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that shit. I'll tell you that right now.
Easy, Danny Glover.
Right. I'm like,
But yeah, I mean, Fort Lauderdale, honestly, I've only been there a couple of times. I've only been to Scottsdale once. I go other places in those states, but if I'm doing Scottsdale compared, I mean, Arizona is just like that's top level. Fort Lauderdale, you're going down there, you're sweating. You gotta be.
I'm always going West Coast. I'm a West Coast guy. Like I love the West Coast.
Yeah,
like I'm much more West Coast than I am Florida.
Right, I agree.
Those people like are friends with alligators and shit. Like I'm good.
There's a couple really good families down there, right, Aaron? We've got relatives down there in Florida.
Yeah,
there we go.
All right. I'm done.
You gotta stand up for them. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Anyway.
Get us out of here.
Is that the mailbag?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, we're done. Any final tidbits, gentlemen? Aaron.
Again,
Dad.
There's nobody doing it better than what we're doing on Sunday mornings with Jeff and Dave. There's nobody better at what we're doing on Monday nights with Ryan Royer. We're kicking ass. I love it.
And taking names. Well, guys, if there's nothing else, then I guess, big shout out, big thank you to all the fans, obviously, that came down and showed out down there in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas. A big shout out to Danco Joe and Danco Transmission. Special thank you to Ryan Royer for coming on as well. He'll be on every Monday throughout the season. So for my good pals, my buds, my PICs every Monday night, that's Bearcat Journal Nightcap. You guys are excited for those, but for Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BVP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.